to the School of Code. It's time to resume our learning on Zoom. Get out the breakout rooms and get...
Hi everyone, we are Team Paragon. Before we dive into our product presentation, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Natalie and my career has predominantly been in the beauty industry where I was delivering skincare and makeup solutions to my customers. Now I use that passion to create solutions with technology.
Hi, I'm Kang, and before the School of Code, I was a chef and spent most of my time improving my creativity through culinary arts, and I want to channel my passion for food into programming for the future.
Hi, I'm Katie. I've been a professional musician for the last 10 years, but I wanted a new challenge in life, so I swapped jazz for JavaScript and joined the School of Code.
Hey everyone, my name's Arshi. I used to work in finance, but now I use code to build things, solve problems, and learn constantly.
Hi guys, I'm Bradley. I originally worked in finance, but I'm looking to test my creativity and problem solving by diving into the world of tech. So, our brief was to improve the remote team building experience at the School of Code. So firstly, what is team building? We carried out some initial user research and found that remote team building meant breaking down communication barriers, building rapport, and sharing positive experiences with each other. This is needed to drive innovation and creativity within teams, and without can stifle productivity, workflow, and ultimately lead to negative experiences. And this is more important now than it has ever been because our clients, the School of Code, are working remotely. They're faced with new problems. There is no actual face-to-face human interaction or bumping into colleagues on the way to make a coffee, stripping the personal human interaction from the work setting and making it more difficult to build strong and cohesive teams. So this is where we come in.
We are currently solving this problem for the School of Code specifically, but we are aware that the current climate, many companies are moving to a remote way of working, and this gives us an opportunity to be marketable to many different industries. We feel that the product that we've created can be adapted to solve the problem for any team working remotely. We have created a bespoke game which helps people to get to know each other and work together more effectively. Alongside this, we created a platform designed for the School of Code, encouraging team members to spend time with each other using the collection of activities, ranging from multiplayer games to code-related activities. These two services allow team members to share positive experience, which will result in a more effective teamwork. Now I'd like to pass you over to Katie, who will go through our platform with you.
Thanks, Kang. Today I'm going to give you a tour of our platform as a new user, and I want to take you back in time to 4 months ago. It's September. You can imagine me as a bright-eyed, excitable new School of Code bootcamper, ready and raring to go. I can't wait to meet the other members of my cohort, find out more about them, and start working with them. On the first day, we're put into teams and given a few minutes to go away and get to know each other before working on a coding challenge together. The problem is, I can't really remember who everyone is, and it would be great to have some games or activities to play together to help break the ice and get to know each other more before we start working together. I've been told that there's a School of Code team building platform that might be able to help us, so I'm going to head there and have a look. Now, the first thing I've come to is a login page, so I'm going to click on this red login button here, and I can log in here or I can sign up for the first time. Now, if I'm here for the first time, I need to enter my email, name and password, and also a short bio in this profile section here, which will be used later on the profile section of the platform. Now, because I've been here before, I'm just going to enter my email and my password, and I'm going to get signed in. Now I'm just getting logged in here and I've landed straight onto a home page, which is reassuring. It says Welcome Bootcampers, so I know that I'm in the right place. There's a bit of information here about why School of Code believe that team building is so important and how it's more challenging now that the bootcamp is fully remote. I can also see that they've created a bespoke team building game called Facts, which I'm really interested in trying out shortly with my group. But the first thing I want to do is find out who on earth these people are that I'm stuck with for the next 16 weeks. There are a lot of other bootcampers in my cohort, 47 others to be precise, and I'm already struggling to remember who everyone is and put names to faces. We've introduced ourselves on Slack, but those intros are already disappearing into the depths of the chat history, which isn't much use anymore. So I'm going to head to the profiles page, as that sounds like the sort of place where I can find out more about my colleagues. And yes, I can see that there are other members of my cohort here. I recognise some of those faces. And if I just hover over one of these cards, I get shown a little bio about that person, which is really helpful, as it just gives me some context when I'm talking to them. And this is the bio that you would have initially entered when you signed up. Now, if I decide I'm not happy with my profile, I can head up here to my user icon and click on profile settings, where I can change any of the information about myself. Maybe I just want to have my first name there. And if I'm here for the first time, I'll need to upload a photo, and I can do that here by clicking on the picture. So I'm going to save that. You can see that my name's been updated, and that's all done. Now, next, I want to find an activity which we can do in my team. So I'm going to head to this team building section of the platform. And it tells me here that there are a selection of games, activities, and energizers, which will help me get to know my teammates, which is what I want. There's a little bit more information about facts, which we're going to come back to very shortly. And then below, I can see that there are lots of other games and activities to choose from. Some of them are coding challenges we might like to do together, like Code Wars or CSS Diner. And there are other non-coding related games too, like Among Us or Categories. Now, obviously today I've demoed this platform as if I was a new bootcamper, but this product is an invaluable resource throughout the bootcamp because we run daily team building energizers and games to help strengthen relationships throughout the course. And this library can be added to as and when new activities are suggested or created. Now, I'd just like to mention at this point that both the platform and the game are fully responsive. We've designed both for mobile and desktop so that they can be used anytime and anywhere. Now, I've decided that it's time to play facts. So I'm going to click on this red button here, which takes me to the facts game. And I'm going to hand you over to Kang and Archie, who are going to tell you a little bit more about it.
Thanks, Katie. So welcome to our landing page of a bespoke game Facts, which is a microservice within our platform. Here you can see that it's running on a different domain. However, we have implemented a single sign-in feature for user convenience. As you can see, we have the option to create a new game or join an existing game. Seeing as we're the first ones here, Ash is just going to create a new game for our team members to join. Now that we're on the create new game page, we can see that you can input the number of rounds that we want to play. For today's demo, we're just going to be playing 2 rounds. The aim of the game is to firstly guess whose statements belong to which team member, and secondly, which of the statements is true about them. Here we'll have Archie enter a fact about himself and also a lie to throw the other team members off. We want team members to learn more about each other through their facts to build a more effective and cohesive team. Once that's all done, we're just going to click on the Create Game button. Now we're taken to the lobby page where we're given a unique game ID. We're just going to copy and paste the game ID to the rest of the team, and we'll give them a moment to join with their facts and lies. We've also added some sound effects within the game to bring it to life, and we hope you can hear them through our live demo. Our user research showed that bootcampers wanted to get to know each other more personally during team building activities. And Facts was originally an energizer run by the School of Code coaches and became a crowd favorite in our cohort. We created an app for Facts so that any team could play wherever they wanted and learn more about each other. On our right, you can see the game lobby, and Bradley and Kay has already joined. I'm just going to get the code for myself as well to join and paste this in. There we go. I think that's everyone there. So once everyone's ready, we're just going to click on the Start Game button, and I'm going to pass you over to Archie, who will guide you through the first round of the game.
Brilliant. Thanks, Kang. So this is the first round. The aim here is for everyone to guess who these facts belong to before the timer runs out. Here we can see the timer, and here we can see the facts themselves. I'm going to pick Bradley, as I suspect these facts belong to him. And coming up on the next screen, you'll be able to see who the most voted for person was before the answer is revealed. And on the next screen here, we can see the answer being revealed to everyone. So it was Kang. This is the second part of the question. The aim here is for everyone to guess which of these facts is true before the timer runs out. I suspect this is the correct fact. And on the next screen, the answer is revealed to everyone after the countdown. We can also see the leaderboard, which tells us who is in the lead. This is the start of round 2. Now that I've explained the game for one round, we're going to play one more round as a team to give you a flavor of how it would really work.
Well, this is a tough one.
Bradley. What's wild camping?
Going with Katie. You know, just like sleeping in the bush.
Sleeping in the bush. Yeah, that's the one. The question is, guys, which one do you think is true?
It's a tough one. Tough one.
I don't think you went wild camping in winter.
Yeah, I think it was
cycling. I'm going with the cycling.
What?
Oh my God. What a beast.
Yeah, hardcore.
That's a good job.
So we can see from the leaderboard everyone's positions. I think after a few rounds of this game, we would all know each other a little bit better. Now that we've finished demoing the game, I'll hand you over to Natalie, who will take you through our journey.
Great, thanks Archie. Well, I hope you enjoyed our demo. I know we're all really proud of what we've managed to achieve in just 4 weeks, and now we'd like to show you what that journey looked like. So, beginning with ideation, we used Trello to collect our thoughts and implemented the Disney ideation method, starting at the dreamer phase where we jotted down all the possible creative outcomes, and then moved on to the realist phase where we challenged our ideas. So asking ourselves, could we achieve any of this in 4 weeks? How would we implement our ideas into code? And finally, we criticised. For example, what knowledge gaps do our ideas present, and so on. After this process, we decided on user research being the best way to narrow things down, and we sent out a Google form on Slack to our fellow boot campers and also our connections within the tech industry to ask what they felt was challenging about working in teams remotely. The data that we received from our feedback led to the planning stages of our product, which Bradley will now take you through.
Thanks, Nat. So as part of our research, we created a number of user personas to represent the different types of users that might use our product. And then from this, we made user stories. This just puts ourselves into the shoes of our clients in order to see if and how our product improves remote team building. We initially set out a minimum viable product, a maximum lovable product. The MVP was the game stripped back to its bare essentials, just a multiplayer game where boot campers could guess each other's facts. And as seen in the demo, we've added loads of new features, the platform, the animation, the leaderboard, so much so that we're well within the range of our maximum lovable product. Now onto the initial designs with Draw.io. So we used Draw.io to construct the initial designs and logical flow of the game and platform. This was done in detail to avoid confusion further into the process and allowed a seamless transition from the design to the actual building of the product. Now moving on to the high fidelity prototypes with Figma. So the design itself was iterative, so we kept coming back to tweak the overall designs based on the feedback we received from our clients. So here are the game designs, with the final design being the dark blue and purple color theme, bringing the overall game to life and giving it this sleek, minimal design. And next up is the platform. So we stripped back the initial design of the color and features to give it this elegant, minimalist user interface and theme. Less is so much more in this case. Now I'll hand you over to Kang to talk about the front-end implementation.
Thanks, Brad. So firstly, we chose React because it's battle tested and an industry standard for creating UIs. The majority of our design was created using CSS, but we did also implement a few component libraries along the way, like Material UI and Chakra. We used React testing library for unit testing to ensure our code was fully operational before we hosted both the game and the platform on Netlify. We were able to speed up our development on the front end with the use of Storybook, isolating each component and handing data to them, allowing us to visually test our application in the development phase. This was beneficial to the team as it allowed us to split the workload effectively and efficiently before regrouping and integrating our backend and front end. I'm going to pass you over to Archie, who's going to explain the backend.
Thanks, Kang. So our core service is a WebSocket server that's been written in Node.js using a Node package named WS. We chose WebSockets as they allow for bidirectional communication between the client and the server. And this would allow the server to push changes in game state to the client, as opposed to the client having to poll the server, which can be inefficient. We chose Node.js as our language, as our game logic isn't computationally intensive and mainly involves network I/O bound tasks, which suits Node well. For persisting game state, we explored options like Redis, Firebase, MongoDB, and Heroku PostgreSQL. We chose AWS DynamoDB though, as it is a performant, highly available, scalable, fully managed service. And this afforded us more time on solving the problem and shortened our feedback loop and time to first deployment. Regarding authentication, we researched options like Firebase and Auth0. We chose AWS Cognito, however, as it handled both the authentication and authorization, and it provided our authenticated users with JSON web tokens, which could then be used across the rest of our services. This worked well for us, as it meant that our WebSocket server, which was running on an entirely different domain, could then accept or refuse socket connections based on the token's presence and validity. The other tools we used were Jest for writing tests and Joy for validating the data we were retrieving from or putting into the database. I'll now hand you over to Katie to talk about project management.
Thanks, Archie. So we briefly wanted to talk about project management as it's played an integral part in how we've delivered our project. At the start of the project, we felt that it was important to spend a little time getting to know each other, discussing the team ethos and expectations, and outlining the way that we wanted to work, which included a commitment to regular communication, team problem solving, pair programming, and the sharing of responsibilities and roles. We implemented a strict GitHub strategy, which included no one pushing to the main branch until the very end of the project. We made a dev branch, which we regularly pushed to, and created individual branches off that. We merged the dev branch via pull requests, and if we did get merge conflicts, we made sure to resolve them together as a team. We managed to avoid conflicts most of the time, though, by clearly communicating with each other about which folders we were working in. In terms of project management style, we implemented agile methodology using a Scrum-bound framework, which worked well for us as a team, as it allowed us to adopt a versatile approach to workflow management. We implemented short feedback loops with 1 week sprints, so 4 in total for this project. We had daily stand-ups and retros. We regularly reviewed our MVP and MLP to make sure we were on track to deliver the product, and we got client feedback on both the game and platform at various stages throughout the project. We used a number of project management tools, including Jira, which we used to document and organize our workflow, Confluence, where we stored other information about our product, including requirements, user research and feedback. We also used Trello more at the start of the project during the ideation and planning phases to collate our ideas. And we used Slack to communicate with each other during and outside of work hours. I'm now going to hand over to Natalie, who's going to wrap up by sharing our analysis and vision.
Thanks, Katie. So we've demonstrated how we managed the project and how we achieved our MVP and MLP. We stretched our skills using technologies that we hadn't used before, including 2 AWS services, WebSockets, and a project management tool, Jira. Overall, we had a transformative learning experience that has prepared us for the workplace. And if we have more than 4 weeks, I'd like to quickly discuss what our product's future might look like. So the vision. We'd love the platform to host a feature where boot campers can organise a remote coffee meeting, as our data from our feedback suggested that many boot campers would like to have the option to have a catch up with each other as an alternative to participating in activities. And finally, we'd like to optimise the platform for our clients and improve user experience using web analytics, such as Hotjar, which is an application that can track our web page so we are better able to see what users are actively engaging in. This data would help us to make better decisions in creating more remote team building solutions in the future. And there we have it. I hope you enjoyed our presentation today, and we're happy to take your questions.